All right, let's just jump right in. If you're a chef, a caterer, really any kind of food entrepreneur, and you are just so tired of working incredibly hard only to feel like you're just breaking even, then this is for you. We are about to pull back the curtain on the real reason you might be leaving cash on the table and not even know it. I mean, does that hit home? It's a feeling that, gosh, so many people in the food business know. You pour your heart and soul into a job, everything goes off without a hitch, the client is raving, the payment comes through, but then you look at your bank account and you're just like, where did the money go? The numbers just don't match the hustle. And look, I really want to make this crystal clear. If that feeling rings true for you, it absolutely does not mean you're bad at business. Not at all. It just means there are some invisible things at play, some hidden costs that are quietly eating away at your profit. And today, we're going to shine a big bright light on them. Okay, so let's get into it. This is what I call the post-job profit problem. And really, it all boils down to what's actually in your quotes versus what you think is in them. You see, every single job you quote, it doesn't matter if it's a simple meal prep or a massive wedding, has its own financial DNA. And way too often, we only look at the most obvious stuff, right? Like the cost of the chicken. But the truth is, it's so much more complex. And that complexity is exactly where the profit gets lost. So here's the deal. There are really 5 core parts to every single profitable quote. If you miss even one of these, you're pretty much paying to work for your client instead of, building a business that's actually going to last. Okay, so the first 2, ingredients and supplies, they seem pretty straightforward, right? But it's the next 3, your labor, overhead, and profit. That's where most food businesses are leaking money. And overhead, think of that as the cost of keeping the lights on whether you cook that week or not. We're talking about things like your insurance, your software subscriptions, maybe your kitchen rent. These are not optional extras, people. They are the absolute, non-negotiable foundation of a healthy business. All right, let's zoom in on labor for a second, because this is probably the #1 place people underbill. And I want you to ask yourself this and be really honest. Are you truly counting every single hour that goes into a job? Or are you basically just counting the time you spend over the stove? Because your labor, oh my gosh, it is so much more than just the cook time. It's the prep time, it's the packing and loading your car, it's the driving, it's the setup when you get there and the breakdown when it's all over. It's even the time you spend on all those back and forth emails and texts. Every single one of those actions has a dollar value and it has to be in your quote, period. And that brings us to the most misunderstood piece of the whole puzzle, profit. Here's the absolute biggest takeaway. Profit is not some happy accident. It is not the loose change you're hoping is left over at the end. Profit is a specific, calculated line item that you have to build into every single price, right from the start. Think of it as a cost of doing business, because it is. So, how do we actually fix this? Well, it takes a really big shift in how we think about pricing. It's about moving away from all that emotion and anxiety and just committing to the simple, cold, hard math. We have to make the switch from pricing based on what we feel to pricing based on what we know. Just think about these 2 mindsets for a second. Over on the left, you've got feeling-based pricing. That's where you're just hoping for a profit, you're rounding down your price because you're scared it seems too high, and you're way more worried about the client's comfort than your own financial health. Now look to the right. That is where we need to live, building in profit first, trusting the numbers, and focusing on what really matters, keeping your business alive and well. I really want you to let this one sink in. Seriously, maybe even read it again. Your client's comfort with your price is not your responsibility. Your business survival is. This is the big mindset reset right here. It is not your job to slash your prices to make a client feel comfortable. It is your absolute responsibility to price your work in a way that ensures your business is going to be around next year. Okay, so to really put this new mindset into action, we've got to get brutally honest with ourselves. I'm going to ask you 3 questions, and I promise your answers are going to show you exactly where your pricing strategy needs a tune-up. Question number 1, where do you feel like you underprice the most? Is it individual plates, big events, your weekly meal prep service, or maybe just pans of food? Nailing down your biggest weakness is always the first step to making it a strength. Okay, number 2, and be honest with yourself on this one. Do you have a habit of rounding down just to make it easier for the client to say yes? The max spits out a number like, say, $527. Do you quote that? Or does your stomach do a little flip and you knock it down to an easier 500 bucks? That $27, that isn't just a number. That's your profit, that's your labor, that's your business's future. And finally, question number 3. This might be the most important one of all. Are you actually paying yourself for your hours? Like building a specific hourly wage for yourself into that labor cost? Or are you basically just working for free and hoping that whatever's left over at the end, that so-called profit, will feel like a paycheck? You have to remember, your salary and your business's profit are two totally separate things. No, look, if the answers to those questions made you feel a little uncomfortable, that is a good thing. Seriously, that discomfort is the starting line for making real, lasting change in how you run your business and how you value your incredible work. Your answers to those questions, that's your personal roadmap. They show you exactly where the leaks are in your financial boat. By figuring out where you round down, which services you underprice, and how you're treating your own salary, you now have the perfect blueprint for building a new pricing strategy that's actually truly profitable. So I'll just leave you with this final thought. What if the next quote you sent out wasn't a guess? What if it wasn't a hope and a prayer, but it was a guarantee of your success? Imagine sending that quote with total confidence, knowing that every ingredient, every single minute of your time, and the very future of your business is all accounted for. That's not a fantasy. That's what happens when you finally decide to master the math.